Well, if episode 5 could be described as the calm before the storm, episode 6 is definitely the calmer before the storm. I'm your host, Jake or Spods from the Arctic Action YouTube channel, here with my co host. He's not red, he's purple, it's Danny.
Hey, Captain Jewsus here, guys. God, this was an episode.
This
Uh,
episode definitely happened.
we are alone today, no guest.
Yeah, we messaged people around and no one was available. We had a guest for episode 6 originally, couldn't happen. So we tried to
Oh,
message people last second, couldn't happen. So hey, but we have someone for episode 7. So I
a
hope
lot of
you'll enjoy
time
that.
zone problems with us here, but here, let's just jump right into it.
Let's just jump right into it. If you don't want everything, if you don't want to hear everything we're about to say about all teams, there will be timestamps in the description about when we change subjects. So if you're not interested, tune into those timestamps. Other than that, we thank you for joining us along the way on the Arctic Action, breaking down Mindcrack UHC 29, episode 6. This episode happened. We're gonna
Yeah.
start with Gob 2.
All right, Gob 2 here. Right away, you see them surfacing. They go for trees. They get some apples in this episode.
Yeah,
Uh,
every team's perspective can be described in maybe 2 sentences, and that's just the nature of this episode. I mean, we for the most part enjoyed watching. As usual, Triangle has good commentary. Orange is good it's just not that eventful in terms of impactful stuff. There was a lot of stuff that happened, but not a lot of impactful stuff. And Gob 2 is no exception. They go up on the surface. Breon and the others are cutting down a tree. And the reason I separate Breon is because a creeper is coming up on him.
uh,
Goot screams at the top of his
Groot screams
lungs.
at him, and the whole team thinks, "Oh my God, there's an attack coming!" Breon just jumps away. I think he only takes about half a heart here.
Yeah, half a heart of
Crew will also
damage.
take half a heart when they later in the episode due to gravel. This team, they're going to get 3 golden apples in this episode. They get a great quote where they say they're going to skirt through the mesa.
Yeah.
No mesa on this map. I don't know what they're talking about here.
Yeah, they're just
Uh,
they're in the savannah. They're done cutting down their trees that they planted. Actually, this team has not had a lot of movement. They start the episode off in the same ravine they ended episode 4 in. They dig up into the same savannah biome they spawned in episode 1. The reason they get a lot of oak trees is because they planted a bunch before they went down. So I guess the little movement was of a benefit to this team. So after they cut down the trees, Breon suggests they skirt through the mesa.
and
Um,
as they're skirting through this mesa, they spot something. Is the player? Is the bunny? Turns out it's just a sheep.
yeah,
Uh,
player and bunny are your only options, though. I mean,
yeah, player and or your bunny are there. They
sheep
are
was
your
not
only
a part of
options.
the. I was
Uh,
I was not aware that
They do
sheep
eventually
was in the
find a cave
equation.
here. They do find a cave here. It's
Yeah,
triangles, I believe. I believe the first cave Triangle went into.
yes, it was their
They don't find
starters.
much in
Um,
there. Yeah, not much really happens to them. They get I think a little bit of gold that ends up helping them get one of their 3 golden apples.
Yeah, so somewhere along the way, Chad suggests this weird strategy: shock and awe. What do you? And I mean, okay, so the strategy is they're going to bedazzle and bejewel their shields, so when the other teams see them, they're going to be very scared. What
Yeah,
do you think about the strategy?
personally, when I see a team with bedazzled shields, gorgeous shields looking, they're just too fantabulous. I can't shoot at them. It's too cute looking, man.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say. Just
I
can't do it.
I don't
Just
know.
can't
Me
do it.
personally, I wouldn't want to either break the shields or the people wearing the shields. So I think it is a strategy that could work, given they finally craft banners, which they haven't yet.
Yeah. Talking about strategies that work, let's go to the green team here.
Yes. This
uh,
episode was they had a fourth teammate.
yeah, we don't have a special guest for this episode, but they did. They had Jay Sano's son sitting in on the episode, and honestly providing some of the most insightful commentary we've ever seen in the UHC.
Yeah. So the team assaults Team Triangle's Old Hill, and Nevers came to the conclusion that no, those weren't players; those were just llamas he was seeing the whole time.
Yes, but at 7 minutes and 40 seconds in the episode, they spot a player, and at 12:05, it is confirmed that the team they spotted was Orange Team, as is apparent by the dogs and the name tag.
Yeah. So on their hill, uh, they're trying to gear up because why not? So they're leveling up their stuff, and the anvil breaks, and Jay Sano's son goes, "Oh no, this is a true catastrophe." As someone who probably doesn't even play the game knows what's happening here. This is bad. Packrat doesn't have the iron, and while asking around for the iron, he sees someone, so they run away toward the looted desert temple that was visited a couple times in episode 5.
Yeah, they separate here. Nothing bad really happens. Packrat wastes a lot of time going to the desert temple, seeing if there's any TNT at the bottom. There is none. And then they retreat into the caves for nighttime.
And I'll have you know that TNT is in fact red.
Yes, it is red.
So yeah, they get into a hole in the savannah as the sun sets, and at this point they're kind of worried because they just saw a team. They're not sure which team it is, but we can assure you it is Orange Team, I guess, right?
Yes, it is confirmed to be Orange Team.
So Pac hears dogs above them. That's why we know it's Orange Team. So Nebris suggests that they dig like a snake.
Yeah, dig like snakes. They go out all in different directions, except for Jay Sano, who just stands at the base of the cave, unshifted.
Jay Sano is a true team player. He's taking phone calls. He's tending to his kid. He's unshifted, and no one cares. He even offered a few times to be the sacrificial lamb of the team. But yeah. Also, another thing that Jay Sano is saying, which we definitely agree with, is hiding is boring. He is very disinterested at his team strat.
Yeah, the strategy here, it works for them as they avoid any sort of nighttime damage from mobs and such, or that a fight would because a fight in the nighttime is going to be hard, especially with skeletons and such around. But honestly, at this point, episode 6, we're nearing on episode 7. I kind of just wanted to see a fight, if I'm being honest. And
yes.
a little, but they're being smart here. They're being tactical. Providing themselves with the best chance to win the game.
So this team ends the episode with them going onto the surface where they see names underground, and that's it.
Yes. And then, obviously, speaking of Green Team, then, I guess we'll transition here with the team that ran away from them last episode. Triangle Team?
Or, as better put by Arcus, Team Brave, as they run away from the hill.
Yes, they're very self-aware of their positioning in this game as the underdogs with the damage they've taken and their lack of gear.
I just have a lot of Arcus quotes because he says, "We need a level playing field. We need to fight a team with 2 missing players."
I'll just go
in a team of 3 game. On their way of, I'm sorry.
They find a spawner. They go down in the cave.
Yeah. They run to a desert hill and they dig down in there.
They go at 9:10. They find a skeleton spawner, which doesn't give them much. They get a golden apple in this episode. They sleep again, so resetting that might, with how long the season's going, resetting your sleeping schedule is going to be good for this team. And you got to keep the tradition alive. They take damage again in this episode. Badge takes a heart.
Yeah. Speaking of the spawner, this was a very loud spawner, as there was a strip mine that went a very long ways. And I'll have you know,
questionably long strip mine.
We waited 3.5 hours after the episodes originally aired to record this episode, which is more than we usually do. And still only then did Cone Dodger upload. So we only got to see his perspective. So we don't know how long Arcus and Badge were digging for, but it looks like a very long strip mine. I mean, a very loud spawner.
Turned up to max? Yeah, maybe those skeletons were just screaming at the top of their lungs.
Ah! Creeper! They are digging now with an actual reason, because I hear water. So Badge finds water driplets on the ceiling, so they dig up to it. Water spills into their tunnel, and Cone Dodger makes drowning sounds, to which Arcus turns around and looks him dead in the eyes and says, "The water is at your feet." Now, Danny, what is the deepest water you've ever had trouble swimming in?
When I was 3, I tried to swim in a bowl of soup, and I was bigger than the bowl of soup, so I did have trouble swimming in it. But such is life.
Yeah, that is troublesome. You don't want to drown. You don't want
You
to get
don't
your
want
feet wet and drown.
Yeah, don't get your feet wet in a tablespoon of water
Yeah.
here. They
So
also devise a bit of a plan to let the other teams just die to the border so they can win by default, which I think
yeah,
is a sound strategy for this team.
I mean, at this point, yeah, they get into that cave with the water, and there's gold in it, and I mean that's pretty much it with this team.
Yeah, speaking of gold, then, right?
Yeah,
Classic team. They
classic
get
team.
gold in this episode.
This team doesn't even see the surface, unlike every other team in this episode. They stay in the hill that they retreated from with the phantoms. So they're still in the caves, and Ko finds a spider spawner, one that he thought wasn't even real.
Yeah, I mean, the spider spawners are rare. Most people, when they think of the spider spawner, they're thinking of the mine shaft ones with the cave spiders. But it's confirmed 100%. 2019, mark the date, March 4th. It is confirmed that spider spawners do exist in this game.
Yeah, so in this chest, he finds some interesting gear, bones, gunpowder, and blast protection 3. Now, I know blast protection is usually an unused enchantment, but when it's that high, when it's a level 3, do you enchant an armor piece? They don't, but I'm just wondering if it would be a sound strategy.
I think about boots. Maybe if you got feather falling on the boots, I would think about it. At least I would be more. Uh, I'd be more inclined to do it if it was a fire protection 3. I'll put it like that. Blast protection, I don't see too much of a use for it in a UHC setting.
Makes me wonder, why is just protection an enchantment? Shouldn't there be like melee protection instead of protection?
Well, I believe it's protection is melee protection mostly, at least, and then projectile obviously is special for
All right,
projectiles.
yeah. So, Kurt says, I haven't seen any oak trees. It's all savanna and desert.
Yeah,
Now,
almost like
what trees spawn in savanna biomes? Pop
well, of
quiz.
course there's the acacia trees, but there's definitely oak trees that spawn, as is
Yeah.
evident by just about every team finding them.
Also
Uh,
evident by classic team actually having golden apples.
yes, and they have plenty of apples to go around. I believe they have 7 spare apples.
Yeah.
If I'm correct here.
So they spend this episode just leveling up their stuff. Kurt gets a power 2 bow, a protection 2 helmet, and finally enchants his
Power 3, though.
boots.
Oh yes, at 15:30, Kurt enchants his boots with protection 1. Yes, protection 1
In episode 6,
Great
15:30
time.
into the episode, he
Yeah.
finally enchants his boots. It's crazy.
They
So
they get a power 3 bow towards the end of this episode.
yes, that goes to Bowstar. I meant. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Who asks, how long will this go? Maybe it'll never end. And to
We'll
that I
see.
say, please let it end.
14. I'm calling a 14-episode season here. We're gonna have a
I
one
mean,
by one
hey,
board.
season 15 was longer than just 14 episodes.
All right. Well, I think we touched on the good things of a video though at the end of the episode. I believe they're questioning whether there's combat coming ahead, and
Yeah.
Avidius he takes a kind of prematurely takes a golden apple here. He was down 4 hearts, so
Yes.
it's not the worst play in the world, seeing as he still has 2.
And that golden
everyone
apple,
has 2, I believe, except for the player who has an enchanted golden apple and
Yeah.
a golden apple.
so Kurt has a notch apple and a regular golden apple, and Avidia has 2 golden apples. He ate 1. Kurt passed a spare to him, so Avidia has 2 golden apples. Kurt has 2, technically. This golden apple eating came after a conversation about phantoms, where this team is making the mistake of thinking that phantoms don't burn in the daylight and they track you infinitely. So they're scared to surface, basically. And also, speaking of being scared to surface, Avidia sees names. At first, we think as Orange Team because they were the other team on the surface, but Gob 2 also was on the surface and near Savannah. So, and
It was a
Avidia
9,
says it was pink colors, so it could be Gob 2 that they saw, most likely.
It was at 9:02. If anybody's interested, though, I believe it was a short name. There was one short name you pointed out, which might have been
which was
Brielle or Good. Yeah. I believe that's all we have on Classic Team here.
Yes.
Classic Team, sorry. So let's go to BDSM. Of course, everybody
Which
knows what
stands
that
for?
stands for.
Beef Dyer and Seth in Minecraft. They are playing Minecraft this episode, aren't they?
Yes, they are. They surface here. They're kind of like hunting. They see Green, obviously. Green also saw them. famously throughout this episode. They find Green's village from episode 1, early in this episode.
Yes, and that is right before they get spotted by Green Team and Orange Team spots Green. It was kind of a back and forth in terms of spotting. There was some movement toward one another, but usually the theme of this episode was Orange Team wants to fight and Green Team wants to hide, which can't happen any longer. I mean, like game play speaking, not just because it's boring, but because like the border and stuff.
Yeah, the border's
and they can't hide forever.
You also think with Green's gear that they'd want to fight at this point.
Yeah. So
Orange Team also, they sleep in this episode. They get a Protection 3 chest plate, which is gonna really help them come PvP.
Also, I want to say that after they okay, so Orange Team has to cross a ravine to get to the village, and that's where they see Green Team, or shortly after. So Beef is crossing this ravine, and a dog teleports to him and almost knocks him off. And then they go up the hill to see Triangle's fort. So this team is seeing a lot of structures touched by other people. And I'll have you know that I'm sorry, but I'll have you know that that those fake doors that Triangle planted, they worked because Beef looked through them, said, "Oh, this looks like nothing's here."
Yeah, I just want to quickly touch on. You mentioned the dogs for this team. They do have some dog trouble here.
Yeah, Beef has suicidal dogs.
Yeah, Beef has a suicidal dog here as it keeps jumping into a hole once they go underground and nearly kills itself multiple times. They also go for an interesting strategy, and maybe you could touch on this a little more. They go for lava buckets while they have dogs, and I don't know about you, but when I think about that, I'm thinking you put the lava bucket down, you're probably going to do more damage to your dogs than the enemy team.
I believe season 22, lava and dogs didn't mix well. I'm trying to think of other seasons where lavas and dogs, maybe 11. But there's also the fact that they're trying to hunt down this green team, this ever elusive green team, and Beef says they might have a complex system of tunnels, to where Dyer says we're fighting the Viet Cong now.
Yeah, an interesting opponent in the UHC.
Yeah, you don't want to face them in an ultra hardcore. And there's obviously some shots being fired. There's a bit of chirping in this episode as Seth says BTC isn't in this game. For those of you who don't know, BTC is known infamously for hiding until the last person is available to fight, whether that be purposely or accidentally. So that's that's
about it we have on
this team. This team is, I don't know. When one of your bullet points on notes is Dyer asked for 2 states, Beef gives 3. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not a very eventful episode.
Oh, and also Beats gets a Prot 3 chest plate, but who cares?
You get that Prot 3 chest plate. I believe we touched on that before, but I mean that's going to help them. Yeah, overall, I guess we move into overall thoughts now on the episode. Stuff like it exists. This episode happens.
Oh no, I'm a fan of these teams playing to win. It really ups the emotion in the fights, where it's not just senseless people fighting, it's people with stories. But as pointed out earlier, there's a lot of BTC references from this episode, not only from Orange Team, I think from what is it? Well, Triangle suggests a BTC-esque strategy.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see. I'm honestly really interested to see how fights go with these teams going on more conservative approaches here.
Well, every team except Orange.
Every team except Orange.
Yeah, even Gob 2 was playing a hiding game this episode.
Yeah, that's really interesting. We'll see this. Just a note. They did say in this episode that they reached the record for longest going without a death.
That's incorrect.
It is incorrect. We did look this up. It is episode 7, 3 minutes and 10 seconds in. That is the record. It was set by Bacon Douglas getting killed by a wolf.
Bacon Donut,
Bacon Donuts, not Douglas, but Bacon Donuts. Yeah. Sorry, I can't read my own handwriting.
Getting killed by, I don't know. I think it was Shrian's wolf.
Yeah, it was someone. Yeah, it was a wolf.
Either that or
3 minutes and 10 seconds. That's what they have to beat in the next episode, and it's very possible they will, as no team is 100% engaged in combat.
And mind you that in season 22, they had to actually dig down in a mine shaft to fight Bacon Donut's team, but they did. And also, I think it's kind of poetic that the episode began with babysitters hiding in a cave underneath Orange,
Yeah.
and it ended with Orange hiding in a cave underneath babysitters.
Really, really interesting stuff. We'll see how the fights come out in the next
Yeah,
episodes. Uh, it's gonna be interesting. I can't, I want to say I can guarantee there'll be a fight next episode, but God,
but
you
you
never
know,
know.
for the past two episodes, we've been saying there will be a fight,
Uh,
and I'm not superstitious, so I'm not going to say we're jinxing it.
mhm.
So I'm, so that for this reason, I'm to prove that we're not jinxing the season. I'm going to say episode 7. There's going to be a fight.
Yes, there's gonna be a fight in episode 7, guaranteed 100%. You can come back here and comment that we are terrible people if we're wrong. So let's get into power rankings. Let's do
Yes,
that.
this is
That's a
power rankings. Who we think is going to win number 1 spots.
I'm gonna stick with what I had last time. I'm going with classic team. I
Uh,
think they get fully enchanted in this episode. They get
and
more
that's
gold.
the reason I have them at second. I have Green at first.
They're doing very well with apples, with all the team having a lot of healing, and their healing involves absorption hearts, unlike green. Uh, they increase their range a little bit in this episode. They're the one team that really makes advancements in this episode. And seeing as I already had them ranked at number 1, and not much happens for any other team in this episode, I have to keep them there.
Yeah, Green, not Green. Classic team was one of the only teams that were still focusing on leveling up their gear. Um, but their melee weapons aren't super spectacular. They do have
They have a
a power
railgun.
3. They have a power 3 bow, which Kurt mistakenly called power 5, to which Ghost Star said, "Oh, that's
That's
a
a
railgun."
railgun.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm rating to call it Green Team because if they fight Orange Team, they're gonna get that diamond chest plate after a win. I think they're gonna win that fight because of the notch apple.
Yeah, I'm just thinking
And
something like
also is
that.
that and I would have Orange Team in second if they weren't right above Green Team. So yeah, or right below Green Team.
Yeah,
So I have Orange Team in third. How about you? Or
I got green in second place there. I got a
oh yeah,
classic then green.
man, I'm going ahead.
I'm saying yeah, I'm saying green team second because they're about to take a fight, and I'm assuming Jay Sano's going to be overly aggressive and die, and that'll leave them. I think they'll win the fight, but I think that they'll be down a member, and maybe they'll use their god apple. We'll see how it goes, how the fight goes. Uh, but yeah, I just I don't know with Jay Sano's unique situation in this episode, not in this episode, in this season. I just I don't know. I'm weary about ranking them number 1. And then number 3, I have Orange Team. Still, they're just doing really well this season. Consistent, good stuff, good communication, experienced players.
Yeah, 4 and 5 is where I'm having some trouble again. Triangle or Classic, no idea which one. None of them really made that many advancements except Triangle getting more gold and more healing. So, but then also there's Gob 2. Wait, did I say Triangle Orange? I meant Triangle Gob 2.
Yeah,
Yeah. Gob 2 was taking a bit of damage this episode, 1 heart in total. And they are, as far as I'm aware, close to Classic. Triangle didn't spot anyone at the end of their episode, did they?
but no, but Badge does also take a heart of damage, meaning he is in critical condition uh, going to the next episode.
But they
And
also
they're
have more healing and around the same amount of enchantments and projectiles, and for that reason, Triangle is going in fourth, and Gob 2 is in fifth.
I'm going Gob 2 in fourth, and I'm gonna put Triangle in fifth here. I don't know. I think Triangle's got the better gear, but the way they've been playing this season, kind of loosey goosey. Whereas Gob 2, they've been well, they haven't been playing well per se. They've been together. They've been communicating well, and I think that they last a little better in a fight. And they get 3 golden apples in this episode. That's big for them.
You might be underrating potions there a bit, but that's just me talking to you personally. Um,
Yeah,
it is a close-ish race between 1, 2, and 3, and a close race between 4 and 5. But I think that the 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 class, are like they're in their separate classes entirely.
yeah, definitely. You got your top 3 teams, then your bottom 2. I'm really interested to see how PvP works. I'm really interested to see what teams engage in PvP in this next episode because we don't know how close all these teams are exactly. We have rough ideas for most of them. Like we know Green and Orange are pretty much like on top of one another, but other than that, we're not 100% sure about the whereabouts all the other teams in regards to each other.
Yeah, so that will do it for this episode. Unless you have anything else to say.
No, I think I'm good.
All right,
Yeah.
so our personal channels will be in the link description. If you enjoyed what you heard for this episode, we did the exact same thing for every other episode of season 29. It's on this YouTube channel, and we will do the same thing for episode 7 with a guest.
Yes, we will have a guest.
Yes, and that will be
promise.
that will be 2 days from now. What is that? March
6th.
6th?
7th?
7th. I think 7th.
So we should be uploaded on the 7th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Other than that, catch you on the flip side, guys. Have a good one.